Good afternoon, everybody, or should I say evening in my stupidity. Welcome to round 7 of the MMS British Touring Car Championship here at Silverstone with my usual co-commentator alongside me, Seawolf.
Hello.
So last round wasn't particularly anything to note about, but we still have a championship fight between our usual Nissan Castrol Racing and BMW Schnitzer drivers. So without further ado, I'll get into it, and Seawolf will take it away.
Right, so on pole position we've got a unfamiliar face in the name of Laban Shashlikai. He's put on pole position for the Nissan Castrol Racing team. In P2 we've got a red mane, the consistently fast driver, has once again put on the front row. P3 sees us with Hendrik Sarsella, a unusual qualifying for him, but a very welcome one for the one-day team. Fourth place is Schumacher Michael Macher. Not quite as good of a qualifying as he would have liked. In P6 we've got Stefania Alberti, and down rest of grid we've got Kozak, Chetinkaya, Kayo, McGuinness, Friedman, Curtis, D'Ambrosio, Delalami, Brown, Potter, De Silva, Bobka, Di Grassi, Andriana, Di San Marino, Todorowski, Meshkal, Kaminski, Isbetic, Nisbet, Petrauskas, Christupas, Faulkner, Unterberger. Now, without grid, let's go to the race. So now the lights, vents have gone on, the lights are going on, 3 lights, 4 lights, and we're go! And that has been a very, very good start from Eddie Redmayne, who really takes the lead, going into turn 1. Jessica stays on the outside, and Redmayne runs wide, and Redmayne has gone down to 3rd place. So Sarsella now up into P2 with we're back. Shashlikai now still leading. It's safe to do the kind of match.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Okay.
It's a good start so far from the top 3.
So now going on to the hanger straight, I believe it is. We've got Shashlikai, Sarsella, Redmayne, and McLaren. Redmayne is going to the inside, goes for a look, but doesn't quite do something yet. So, that is Redmayne. Redmayne goes for the lead. A double overtake for Redmayne. Puts him back into the lead. Let's see, is Shashlikai going to have an answer for that into the chicane?
So, yeah, oh, sorry, did I cut you off? My bad.
No, I cut you off, but go on with what you were saying.
So, it's the typical start for us. Redmayne pulls his gap and then tries to manage for the rest of the race. And the Nissan Castrol cars attack from the very beginning. It's not unfamiliar now that they have their own respective strategies. But Sal Saller is a driver I've always wanted to see try and hold his podiums, because he's an incredibly good qualifier, but not such a good of a racer.
Give me a moment. You can take it for a second.
No worries. Meanwhile, Kozak Alberti, who has managed to qualify very well for the Renault dealer racing cars, she has managed to take what is an abysmal performing car and do better in terms of the qualifying session. So hopefully she tries and hopefully the 2 Renault cars, because Lucas De Silva now is coming up in 10th, hopefully the 2 Renault cars are able to go the distance this race.
My apologies, I'm back. I just want to let you know that my own audio quality is just on the stream. So I don't know if you want to take a look into that, but I sound pretty terrible and pretty quiet. Anyway, back to the race. We're currently focused on the Silva Kayo, and Kayo goes around 30 for P8.
I can check that. Are they not hearing you at all, or is it just very
They're
quiet?
hearing me, but I wanted to check, and my audio quality is pretty terrible.
On my coming from me or coming from?
From me.
Oh,
And
okay.
it looks like Curtis is going into the pit. Something must have happened to Aaron Curtis because he's massively behind the field. Let's take a look at Aaron Curtis. What's happened to him?
Hopefully that doesn't spell.
And he's out.
Oh my
Out
God!
of the race on the second lap.
Ah, you've got to be kidding me.
Let's have a look at the replay. What happened to him? Because he was already so far off.
It seems like something. Yeah, he's stuck in fifth gear. Just stuck in fifth gear. Nothing he can do.
Another disappointment for Monster Racing team, and yet another massive disappointment for Aaron Curtis, as he once again fails to finish a race.
And that engine had potential, but it's completely the rest of the car that can't perform.
And maybe I should change out the gearbox. Looks like it has been the main issue for the last few races. Now, back to the front. Sarsala has caught up to Redmayne massively, and is now fighting him for the lead.
Yes, Sal Saller is having a great start to this race, but it's only 2 laps in, so you can't really say for sure if Sal Saller will still be there at the end of the race. Hopefully, for his sake, he is. And as usual, the Nissan Castrol cars are never far away. Seton Kaya for Team Maxted is running well, and Ambrosio is also running well. Kozak, Degrassi, there's a yellow flag out. Looks like oh, there's been a spin, and it's Todoroki. Todoroki, let's see how that happened to him. He held up all the cars because of that. Let's see how that happened. Maybe took too much speed coming out of the corners. Oh! It wasn't because of Todoroki.
That looks to me like... Yep, that was the Renault of the Silver. And he's just been... Oh, he just went too hard into the corner and spun himself around. First rejoining the pack, in the middle of the pack. Going to confirm that he waited until the main... Oh.
Really shameful driving.
It's commendable to him that he waited until the most of the pack was gone, but at the same time he did hit another car, two other cars, that being Petauskas and Todoroki. So Todoroki now in last place.
He'll be furious.
Absolutely, he'll be very, very mad. And going back up the grid, we've got Nisbet and Gopka fighting. Same with, I believe this is the Silver now. Yep, it is the Silver, Nisbet and Gopka fighting over 19th place now. The Silver, of course, being the one who just spun. He'll have some work to do to get back up into the races of the points.
I don't really bet on De Silva's chances to finish the race, as that already reliability sensitive Renault has a massive dent in its bonnet.
Absolutely, that Renault looks like it's been through quite a lot. It's only been through a spin and a few hits, but I'm not sure if the radiator is going to fight from that. He may be leaking some water onto the track, which of course might make the race a bit more interesting for cars behind him, not for their sake, but for our sake.
Yes, indeed. So, going up through the pack, is that Owen Potter I see fighting for 12th? He's usually always hovering outside of the points, but it looks like he might have a shot at getting the points today as they come. Oh, that's way too close for comfort to the tyre wall. I hope that no one hits that if there is a 3 wide through that corner later on, but that looked way too close for comfort. Maybe they're not collide, but that was a bit of a hairy moment. Owen Potter actually dropped back from 12th to 16th over that last altercation in the corners.
And 18th now, actually. He's gone down to 18th place and been overtaken by Lucas de Silva.
He might have a problem.
Well, if he does have a problem, then it doesn't seem to be showing it. It just seems to me that he's driving very, very slow.
And meanwhile, Todoroki has closed in on the quote-unquote backmarkers as we see the Nissan Castro cars racing fast in the distance, and now we are with them. Seton Kaya is now in second place for Tamchester Team Maxted in the Vauxhall Cavalier, I believe.
Yep, and Michael and Josh Dekai now very, very closely following them behind. They, of course, do not want this at all. They have some random privateer of suddenly in front of them, and that's Josh Dekai going for a little bit of a move on Michael, but he's staying behind.
Ambrosio has retired. I think it's the gearbox because he pulled into the pits.
Well, we'll have to see if we take... Right, there's a car stopped in turn 1 as well.
Oh, there is? Should I check the replay or back on live?
I'm asking you to check the replay right now.
Okay.
Ambrosio first.
Okay, let's see what happened to Ambrosio. So, Ambrosio particularly pulled into the pits after he was running quite well in a point scoring position. I think it was 6th. Yeah, he was stuck in 3rd maybe?
Yep, third gear, stuck in third gear, and ready for pits to retire.
And
Todoroki is currently in the first corner. Let's see what's happened here. But we're now going into the last corner right here, fighting with betting at Potter. Still driving strong, still being fast, relatively speaking, but still being in last place from that spin. Now going to the first corner, which is where it happened.
he goes a great move.
Oh dear, that looks like some kind of suspension or braking failure in the middle of the corner. Oh no, looks like he's still running.
Driver error? Possibly?
I've just gone way too hard into the first corner, but he's running again.
He's still going as these two are battling it. Ow! Oh my goodness! Laban Shashnikai overcooks it on his own teammate. Nissan Castrol Racing, in the paddock, they're going to be furious. They're going to be furious.
Yep, that's not going to be very nice words exchanged between those two, I don't think, but you might want to look at the replay of that, because that just looked quite strange. It might hit him or something. Let's see. Nope. Looks like Shashtikai just overcooked it into the corner. The same thing that happened to Todoroki. Might this be a theme among Vinicius and Castro cars now for this race? Did they... Oh, that was plainly... Did they make something wrong with the setup?
I don't know. In Pembury, they at the very last lap, they were obstructed by backmarker cars and collided with each other once again. In Alton Park, on the last lap, Michael Macker spun, and he almost collided with Shashnikai, but Shashnikai spun himself. So all of this is just playing into the hands of Redmayne, who has opened up an 12 second gap now.
Yep, and now focusing on Shashnikai, who's still having a extremely good race for the Temptrust Team Max. Wait, is it Temptrust Team Max?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Or Temptrust Team Max car, or from Temptrust Team Max team, to put more simply. He's having a great weekend right now in second place while being a privateer driver. He's going to be having some extremely good points on the board for this.
I don't know how the Privateer Championship has been playing out as we are keeping up with the main attraction, the factory teams, but I'm sure that this will do nothing but wonders in the Privateer Championship if Seton Kaya can at least bring home a 3rd place. I don't highly rate his chances against Michael Macker, who is clearly on the charge, but I do hope he can hold off Sal Saller, who seems to be slowing down very much because Kozak now is closing in on him. And Shashnikai has a lot of work to do if he wants to catch up with those two in front.
Well, Temptrust Max Stunt, if they score points now, this will be their first point since Netterton, which was round 3 of the championship. and also first one where you competed in. So they've only currently got 3 points over water in third place in the championship, in front of Roy Kennedy Racing.
We have Oliver Kaminsky. Sorry to interrupt you. We have Oliver Kaminsky stopped in the S's.
Let's take a look at what happened right there. Oh, just stopped on the side of the track. Just on a corner marker, quite rude of him. But yep, this looks like an engine failure.
That's unfortunate for Oliver. And meanwhile, Todoroki is trying to make his way up through the back of the rest of the field and get some purchase in the grid. Everyone seems to be running relatively well. Stefano Alberti and Lucas De Silva doing work. A great camera angle showing Conan McGuinness trying to defend from Lucas De Silva, who dives on the inside and takes that position. So now, I believe both of the Renault dealer racing cars are in the points.
Just if you're saying I have some bitrate problems, I'll get back.
No worries, I will continue. So, with both Renaults in the points, it is a great performance for them. Marcus Cadjo of Peugeot taking the other Tams Chester Team Maxted car and going up into 7th place. Shishnikai hasn't been able to close in on Kozak whatsoever, so maybe that spin could have spelt some serious damage for Shishnikai. Salsala running well in 4th. Setinkaya 3rd, as I predicted. Salsala might be able to catch Setinkaya and pass for podium. And Michael Macker is chasing down Eddie Redmayne. Oh, game keeps pausing. There we go. Chasing down Eddie Redmayne, who is pulling out a stormer of a gap on the rest of the field.
Right, sorry, I'm back. Now we've got Michael Myers gone up into 2nd place in front of Chetinkaya now. Chetinkaya might be having some kind of problem. His engine doesn't seem to be very healthy.
Oh no.
Slowing down in the middle of...
That seemed like a complete loss of power.
Also, James Faulkner is also retired from the race. Might want to take a look at that.
Let's see how that happened.
Oh, yep, there we go, James Faulkner.
Oh, big one.
Yep, but looks like an impact mark on the wall. Let's hope he's okay. Oh, dear. Spins it out, gets hit by Potter, gets hit by... Ouch. That's a concrete wall right where it even went into that with his speed like 80-90 kilometers per hour. Let's hope he's fine. Of course, the safety device in these cars quite advanced.
I think he'll be okay. That wasn't the worst accident, but I believe the only way that would have happened is because something on the car failed mid-corner, which is the worst time for something to fail. Now, throughout the pack, Henry J. Brown, is he challenging for position? It seems so. Yes, he is, on the outside of De Silva, and he gets the move done very nicely.
Now, back to Brown, he is currently P12. Having quite a gap now on De Silva, he seems to be trying to catch up to Lisbeth and McGuinness, who are also fighting it out for position, that being P10. In front of them is Friedman, Alberti, and Caio, also quite a ways ahead of each other, though Alberti and Caio were quite close to each other. Then back to the top of the field, we've got Redmayne still leading by 12 seconds, but gap is decreasing massively. In 2nd, we've got Michael Macher, and 3rd, Sarsala, and 4th, Chetinkaya now. So Chetinkaya is really struggling here. That's Kozak!
Oh!
That is Kozak stopping dropping at the side of the road after his engine seems to have had a rapid unscheduled disassembly.
That's great news for Shuzhnikai, who goes through, because it means that now he can work. He can work without having to fight his way past past the slower teams in the series, and it means that one of the Renault dealer racing cars, Stefano Alberti, is now P7, going P6th. So it's a great day for Renault. So that engine, that the upgrades that it has been given, it seems to be working. But will the reliability stick? We can only hope it does. And it will be something spectacular if Stefano Alberti is able to fight competitively with Shuzhnikai.
I'm currently still focused on Alberti. Of course, being P6, great points for her if she does finish, as you have said. In another place of grid, we still have Shuzhnikai in P4 now, but he seems to be dropping back to Shuzhnikai. Shuzhnikai is catching up to him.
Shuzhnikai rocketing past that corner, so clearly on the second wind, and
Shuzhnikai going to the outside and now which turns it to the inside. What an awful way to overtake, but it seems like Shuzhnikai is still having some problems as now, it seems which car is still having some problems as Shuzhnikai now goes past into P4.
And meanwhile, there's a raging battle between Cadjo and Alberti. Cadjo is not going to take this challenge from the Renault car lying down, so there's some great battles to watch here. I want to watch Shuzhnikai go back on the charge, because he'll be at least back in podium position. Both Nissan and Castrol racing cars are 7 points down from Redmayne, so they have to win if they want to get in front for the championship. They absolutely have to win.
Well, it seems that Shuzhnikai currently is still staying on the back of Shuzhnikai. It seems like his problem which he had earlier has been resolved, because now he's right on the back of Shuzhnikai. Looking, staying behind, and he's going for a move. No, not quite. He stays off a move and stays behind Shuzhnikai for now. But here we go, one of the best overtake opportunities on the track, and he doesn't take it. But this little bit of a fight, this little bit of a hold-up has managed to give Stefano Alberti the opportunity to catch up to this pair, which means that Stefano Alberti in Renault might have a opportunity at getting P4.
P3 if she's even luckier.
I must say, Salsal is also losing quite a bit of time to this fight, which is a bit marvelous considering they are fighting, and Salsal now also might be in trouble here.
The thing is, this even though Shuzhnikai is in fourth, I'd rate this as one of his worst performances. Because he had an unforced error early on in the race, something he does not do very often, and now is struggling to find his pace. So either Silverstone is not a good track for Shuzhnikai, or there is something wrong with that car, because this is not normal behavior for Shuzhnikai.
I would have to agree with you, considering Shuzhnikai as a driver has failed not to finish on the podium in every single race. He's managed to finish on the podium every single race he's entered so far, which was round 3 to round 5, round 6. And this streak of finishing on the podium in every race might now be broken.
Well, Saller must be he must be in there in the cockpit with a monkey's paw, hoping that something happens to Shuzhnikai, because Shuzhnikai is trying to find his groove, and meanwhile Michael Macker doesn't seem to be too worried about Redmayne, as he's let Redmayne open up a 20-second gap now, so something might have to be done about BMW's domination. We could be looking at the introduction. The British Touring Car Administration could be looking at the introduction of weights from round to round.
Mike Smart did call on the radio that they, and I quote now, they really need to check that BMW, that just can't be fair. So we might actually be seeing some kind of protest from the Nissan Castro Racing team towards the BMW team, I believe it is, BMW Motorsport, in regards to the legality of my car. Oh, on that note, Miss Betic has also retired from the race.
Let's see. I don't think that happened all at the same time, but I'll try and see what happened to Babka.
Well, yeah, we can see what happened to Babka and then to Miss Betic. Babka stopped, it looks like the first corner. Let's see what's happened to him.
So it seems... Oh, the car is just gone. You can see the display. The engine didn't read anything out anymore.
It looks like low engine power, no brakes, just rolling out to a stop. Let's take a look at what happened to Nisbetic instead.
I think Nisbetic happened well before Babka's retirement.
I would tend to agree with that, but it would still be a good idea to see what happened to him.
Probably another mechanical failure. I think we missed Faulkner and Kozak's failures as well, but they'd be too far back.
Kozak and Faulkner both witnessed that. Faulkner was the one who went into the concrete wall, and Kozak retired in maggots and buckets.
Okay. Yeah, this definitely happened a long time ago. Car doesn't seem to have any damage in particular.
Well, that doesn't have to mean anything, but let's see what's happened to it.
There we are. So it seems like another failure.
Yep. Looks like his engine has sinks, and that looks like some kind of suspension failure or something. His car just snapped to the side. Pretty lucky that he managed to save it, but that's it for Daniel Nisbetic.
So going back to present time, Redmayne still on his own. If I was Redmayne, I'd slow down because the scrutineering is going to get more and more tougher for the BMW team until they find something that questions the legality of the car. Michael Macker now seems to be running well enough. A little bit of damage on the front. A lot of damage, actually. Enough damage for me to question if that car can finish. Sal Saller now being hounded by Shazhnikai, who, as we've seen with the skill of this driver so far, should dispose of Sal Saller like it was nothing, just like he did there.
Yep, he's super fast and into third place. One must mention that the damage from Michael's car is ironically caused by his collision with Shazhnikai as now as well. Shazhnikai back into fourth place, going past Sansa. But Sansa's in big trouble right here because now Kayo is also catching up to him, and Alberti is not that far behind, only about 5 seconds separating.
Alberti seems to have fallen back a lot, so like I called it, possibly that reliability now is creeping up. I don't know where. I think De Silva has dropped all the way back to 18th, which is very bad news. And meanwhile, Kajo challenging Sal Saller and getting the move done.
Well, I wouldn't quite call it a challenge. It looks like Sal Saller is just going slowly. But I have some kind of problem with the engine. It seems almost as if it's a running theme with these cars that we seem to be developing some kind of engine trouble during the races.
Not the most reliable car. I don't know why exactly the super touring cars are not the most reliable cars, but it is the first year of the new regulations, so it's to be expected. And Shezhnikai is even being challenged by Setinkaya.
Yep, Shezhnikai now going right behind Shezhnikai, might be trying to move into the first corner, but if he's going to be wise, he's going to hold off that, and he does hold off it, and just stays behind for now.
Really pushing.
A bit squarely out of the corner right there. He almost lost it, but of course, having a front-wheel drive car has its benefits. And just a moment, P21 is stopped on the track. Yeah, P21 is stopped. That is Lucas da Silva. Lucas da Silva is stopped on track.
So the Renault has very predictably... Oh, and that's Todoroki again!
So da Silva goes to the...
What on earth? And then what happened to Todoroki? Same way.
I believe that Todoroki might have been trying to avoid hitting da Silva, and that's why he stumped on the brakes, but that is da Silva out of the race. I'm going to also use da Silva to see what happened to him.
So it seems like his engine just... Or maybe the suspension again, but... I mean, when the display cuts, it's always engine related.
It looks like it just locked up. And that's Todoroki in the rearview mirror. End of the line for da Silva, and surely race to progress so far for Todoroki. I don't think he's going to get something out of this anymore.
And meanwhile, Shezhnikai and Setinkaya are battling hard.
Shezhnikai is still now having fallen behind Shezhnikai again, but he's not going to try. He's not going to yield for this. As Kaio is actually also catching up to this here of drivers.
I think I don't know Setinkaya's racing history, but I think he knows the importance of being behind. He knows the importance of not trying to get in the way of a driver that's shown nothing but brilliance, scoring podiums in every race they've been in. He knows that Sajnikai is very talented, and he's going to be very careful going about overtaking him.
I wouldn't quite say that Shezhnikai has put a spark of genius in him, but his racing record is extensive, if it isn't very successful. He does certainly have the capability. He's certainly a capable racer, and I think this shows it perfectly. He's going to be fighting in P4 for privateer Vauxhall.
With an inferior car? Possibly. I don't know too much about the cars that are at play here, but that Nissan looks more of a racer than the Vauxhall does.
Well, Vauxhall for one doesn't seem to have any aerodynamic device on it, but the Nissan absolutely has a little spoiler on the rear, so that's already one thing that I could say. The Nissan has an edge over the Vauxhall, though I think some aerodynamicists that may be watching this race broadcast might want to stop my fingers after that.
And it seems like Shezhnikai is going to pull away as he...
Yep, and might I just say, Sasala has gone back in front of Kaio at this point in time. What's happened to Kaio? Kaio is in P6. Just going slowly. And this plays once again into the hands of Stefani Alberti, who seems to be catching up once more.
And there's Nisbet going in the pack. San Marino not doing too badly, 9th place. Conan McGuinness last to the points. Wow. So it has been a hectic enough race so far. I think we have another retirement, and that could be Pedro.
That's Lamy. He looks like he's stinked from all quite heavily there. That might have been something else. He's going to sit in the corner and just get some exit curb.
That could have been very bad.
That could have been a nasty accident, but he kept it relatively nicely out of the wall until he hit it. That could have been a much worse accident if his car was left to the left as he did. But he kept it relatively under control. He's stopped going again. Also not a good race for him. He's down into last place now behind Todoroki, who's currently fighting with Nicolas Di Grassi.
The Team Dynamics cars, these BMWs, they were running very well in the early half of the season, and then it just seems like with the influx of new teams and drivers, they just stopped being competitive. I mean, their best driver arguably was I think it was it was De Grassi. I thought it was Petrauskas.
Well, Di Grassi currently is 4th in points in total, still sitting off of the podium and win that he got in the first 2 rounds. While Petrauskas currently only has 1 podium to his name and no other points.
And Kristupas?
Kristupas has failed to score points in every single race he has entered, which has been every single race. There's a yellow flag in this area. Let's see what's happened. Looks like the yellow flag is gone, but might want to take a look at the replay to see what happened.
Could be a little bit of a hairy moment from these two up in front.
Maybe we could look a bit further ahead. It might have been earlier even.
Possibly.
Saying ahead.
Oh, ahead.
No, ahead in the pack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, could we rewind a bit, please?
I don't see anything. It could have been just
Let's see it. The car's right behind this one.
San Marino. Those two look fine. Maybe it was these two. These two are fighting quite hard.
No, I believe it might have been San Marino.
San Marino. Where is he? Okay.
There we go. No, never mind. Okay.
It could have just been a mistake by the marshals.
I guess it could have, it was just a...
Let's see what's going on. Redmayne, a 25-second gap, so he's pretty much closed the book on this race, unless he makes a mistake on his own, or his engine goes, or anything.
Well, may I just say, it's only been halfway through the race so far, so we might see at some point some kind of disaster for Redmayne approaching, if he isn't careful. But this can go for the entirety of the grid at this point, with the slowest drivers due to be lapped in 1 or 2 laps.
That's been Redmayne's biggest weakness. He's he's not the greatest at lapping slower cars, and that's the reason why that the Nissan Castrol racing cars did especially well at places like Brands Hatch and Snetterton. And that's Metzko fighting Friedman.
Meshka, of course, being a driver that hasn't, and has seen some success, having scored a total of 8 points, same as Darius Petrauskas in the Team Dynamics car, but Brittany Motorsport also being a privateer team has been a bit troubled in the season. Well, in 2nd place in the championship for privateers, but it's not really a big competition when you consider that Team Dynamics always leading.
That's very true. But oh, I can see Kristupas in the background. They're gonna maybe something might happen between these two regarding Kristupas. Redmayne is slowly but surely catching up on the privateers. None in sight for him yet. Michael Macker still comfortably 2nd. Shizhnikai comfortably 3rd. So I think without creating the commentator's curse, I think that is our finishing podium today. I do not see anything developing past that point.
Matt, you know the power of the commentator's curse in MMS, don't you?
I'm banking on it. I'm banking on something to happen. If something bad happens, let it happen, and maybe to Redmayne specifically, because he is, without a doubt, the most maybe uninteresting participant in this series. Just not making sure nothing. I mean, he has all the traits as a good racing driver in this series. I don't think he was the greatest anywhere else, but he has all the robotic traits of an unstoppable driver, but he's also in a very good car. But then again, you have drivers like Unterberger who just seem to not be able to get the hang of the BMW. And it seems there's a bit of a congestion in the second sector of the track, starting from 9th place. Or is that just them all close together? No, there is a battle. There is a battle.
Yep, that's Friedman having gone past McGuinness now. I believe actually that was Friedman defending from McGuinness, my bad. And Friedman now being outside of points once more as Mescal is fighting Henry J. Brown.
Mezco, I think he has a win to his name or a podium to his name.
No.
I thought he was quite quick early in the series, but he seems to be able to comfortably float around the mid pack, so that's pretty proportionate of his driving skills.
As I've said before, Mescal has a total of 8 points to his name. That being that was 1 point finish at Silverstone, last time we went there, then 11 points finish at Donington, getting P10, and then at Pembrey, getting P8, I believe.
Okay, so he's been consistent. He might not be the quickest, but he's consistent. And it looks like he might be going for San Marino, who has not scored points yet in the series, I think.
The San Marino has actually scored points, the Blue Park and the Brands Hatch, having a total of 4 points to her name.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's very impressive. A big train from 14th place. That's Unterberger trying to make moves. The Team Dynamics cars have him boxed in very nicely.
I think this may be a little bit of team orders here too. Oh, well, if those were team orders, then Klaus Petrowski is surely misread them, because he's just got straight into the rear of his Stupas and let Unterberger just go.
Either that or Schnitzer had some words with Team Dynamics about, staying in your lane as a works or a customer, works in a customer relationship.
But Alberta now also going past Stupas. Is Stupas having some kind of problem, because there's also Nikos Digassi and Bezuka Todorki right behind them, and Todorki now goes up position 17. It's very, very bad race as it
Oh,
was.
flash of a yellow flag, and that could have been Henry J. Brown.
Yep, Henry J. Brown might be the one trouble here, let's see. Absolutely, it looks like he has some kind of issue here.
Oh!
That's just...
A cheeky tap, I think. A cheeky tap. That looked intentional. Yes, he went for a gap that wasn't there. Say again?
I don't believe that the stewards are going to be very happy about being the left right foot for contact. But do you see that?
Oh! I see that. Oh, okay, I thought you were trying to point out something else. I didn't... I see that. So, you'd say it's completely intentional?
It might be. I'm sure that the stewards are probably going to rule
I thought it was counter steer.
It might be a possible counter steer considering she went over like fast at this moment, but we'll see what was doing some to say about it. But most of the time it's not looking good for ZL3. B is very enjoyable.
And does he rejoin safely enough? It seems so, without issue, getting out of the way very well.
Yep, Sergio Brown now back into the race in P15, letting Dennis Bedard rally up into P14.
So that seems things have cooled down a little bit there. Alberti still in 8th, doing very well for herself. Nothing of note in the top 3, unfortunately.
With everyone very spaced out, except for Salsella, who seems to be catching up to Shashtikai.
I don't believe Shalshala will finish 3rd this race. I think either the gap between the cars or the gap between the driver's skills is too wide, because Shashtikai has been very capable at disposing Salsala, even when he can qualify well. Everyone is quite spaced out now.
Yep, we've another period of the race where... Oh, there we go, here's the battle. It's AJ Brown, Nico Sigassi, and basically to the hockey facing over 16th place.
A battle for P nowhere.
Oh, it's still a battle, so let's take a look at it. Here we go. On to the Angus straight, I believe this is.
I think you are correct.
Oh, that's Todoroki going to the outside. Got a strange move considering Webercast going to the outside. Here was Diassi going down the inside as he takes a position from AJ Brown. And Todoroki might have something to say about that as well, as he is now right behind AJ Brown to one of the most prominent. And he goes to the inside. That's a move. Does he stick it in? Nope. He sticks out outside, doesn't quite make it. AJ Brown keeps position for now. Oh, AJ Brown with a massive slide for a moment, but we're still side by side with him. Are they is he going to make a move down into the next corner right here? He goes...
Braking very late.
Yep, brakes very, very late, outbrakes AJ Brown.
Still side by side. This is an incredible battle. Still side by side.
I'm going down level bridge. Todoroki still side by side with AJ Brown.
Still side by side. This is the best battle on the track, and it's for P17. Still side by side. They've been side by side for almost half a lap, and I think Todoroki.
No, that's AJ Brown diving into the inside. That's Kustupas also diving into the inside, and Kustupas now next to Todoroki, and that's Redmayne now having gone up to this massive battle, probably thinking to himself, "Oh no, oh my God, how am I going to get past this?" So we're going past the Alami now. Goes behind nicely. I think the first driver to be left now. The rookie now has him as a problem. And the problem is called Matis Kustupas.
Drama is developing, certainly developing. Let's see. Maybe these lapped cars will cause a world of trouble for Redmayne and give Michael Macker some chance of taking this race back.
I would tend to agree with that, considering they're all currently in a battle with each other. They're pretty much the only cars in a battle with each other. If you wouldn't count the little battle for P14 between Unterberger and Potter. But this right here is Todoroki now going to run to the outside again. I don't know why he's doing that. Might be having some overheating trouble.
No, it seems like a bait and switch. It seems like a bait and switch on a...
Second, Chetinkaya has retired from the race. But Todoroki now has done the move.
Oh, I don't want to miss that. Let me go on replay.
And what's happened to Chetinkaya?
So, Chetinkaya is now 19th.
That's behind him. Let's see what's happened to Chetinkaya. Oh.
This looks like an impact, a big one. Hope he's okay. Oh no. Engine goes. Oh, side on.
Okay, well, that was actually a fairly flat impact. I think he's fine. The engine certainly isn't, the car also isn't, but the side of that car it's been handpicked a little bit, but not the driver's side impact, so I believe he should be okay.
Oh yes, you're quite correct. He should be okay. He seems to be moving the steering wheel anyway, so. Back to the race. A damaged BMW Petroskas running. Seems San Marino's the only truly lapped car at the moment.
Sorry,
With the gap.
Dalalami.
Or Dalalami, yes. Dalalami, my mistake. Not much of note going on. Let's see. And
One thing of note, Redman is now going past Costupas. It's Dalalami going past Costupas as well, taking advantage of Redman lapping him to get back up into P18.
Redmayne only lost 2 seconds during that entire ordeal, but he still hasn't gotten past Todoroki, and he's going to lose more time now as his gap has come down from 31 seconds to 28, and it's still coming down for Michael Macker. Michael Macker's making good time.
And as we know, Redman struggles within traffic, and the traffic ahead is certainly quite a bit of traffic, as have all been pushed together again. Todoroki and Unterberger fighting for P16.
Unterberger will probably hold up Todoroki now for his teammate to go by.
Well, that depends on whether or not he's a good teammate, but Redman goes to the inside, doesn't quite hold it in.
Todoroki cuts him off.
And Todoroki might also be trying to hold him up for his teammates, but yeah, he seems to be doing this quite successfully right now, as Michael has already gained over 2 seconds, but now that is Redman going past both of them. I think Redman is going to be in clear after now. But has this changed the outcome of the race now, because now Michael is just 36.8 seconds behind.
You have 26 seconds and 6 laps to go, I think.
Yep, 6 seconds to go.
So
But
I'm not the most optimistic.
there's still quite a bit of traffic to go, and that's also Todoroki having just gone past Unterberger. And Todoroki might be trying to hunt down Redman and just going to try and hold him up or something, or get back past him.
I hope so.
But Nescar is now getting nabbed by Redman. Not getting out of the way. The little big motorsport car.
26 seconds for Michael Macker. And that's Todoroki charging after Redmayne. He is on the mission. Clearly the order has been given. Let's see, this could be something spectacular. 25 seconds for Michael Macker.
Something so spectacular, something dramatic, but whatever it is, it's going to happen now. As Todoroki goes to the inside, but Redman keeps it covered off.
Oh, 24 seconds. Yes!
Goes to the inside.
Yes! He's doing it!
But this is going to open it up for Redman again. Redman goes down the inside, but Todoroki is holding it around the outside. Todoroki does not want Redman to have fun right now.
23 seconds for Michael Macker. Nissan Castrol Racing are going to work. Conan McGuinness in the pits.
So because of the pit,
Look at Todoroki. What a performance for his teammates. This is incredible.
he lapped himself as McGuinness retires from the race, presumably with gearbox trouble. Redman is in shambles. He's lost another 2 seconds now to Michael Macker.
5 laps to go.
5 laps to go, and it seems that at present moment he's even getting caught by Unterberger and Costupas, and this is not what you want to have at BMW Team Schlitzern to happen. Because Unterberger, of course, champion now wants not to fight it, but it doesn't seem like he's interested in not fighting. It looks like he's interested in getting ahead.
I mean, he has Kristupas to worry about, so he needs to get past Redmayne if he's not going to speed up. And it looks like he is.
He's going to the inside, going past Redmayne. Redmayne is now boxed in between 2 BMWs that don't seem to want him around very much. And that is Costupas, I think, going to the inside, but he thinks better of it. As Redmayne now stuck behind Unterberger, losing more and more time.
There's still 5 laps to go. That's enough time for Michael Macker. Michael Macker's now only about
20.5 seconds, but
half a sector behind, I'd say.
roughly other sector, I would agree with that. But of course, Redmayne needs to worry about the cars that are around him now. You cannot think about Michael, who's so far behind, because 25 seconds, of course, is a long time. You cannot think about those cars now, because Redmayne has other things to worry about, like keeping his lead.
He just has to... Like, what Todoroki did there is perfectly legal. So, I don't know what Redmayne plans on doing, if he plans on just letting them unlap themselves again, or will he push? We don't know. Whatever he does, it could mean trouble, and it could mean he spins out or something. I mean, this is Kristupas now, challenging.
Yeah, but this challenge seems to be putting him again in a favorable light, since he's pulled a larger gap to Michael. Michael seems to have given up almost. Or there might be some kind of trouble with his car, as Shashika is also now catching up to Michael.
Well, hopefully they don't do anything stupid to each other. Because there still could be a race to play for here if some sort of tragedy happens to Michael Macker. Or not Michael Macker, Redmayne.
But considering the gap that Redmayne pulled in these 20 laps, and saying that Stupid is now pushing hard to get to overtake him and to unlap himself, I think that Redmayne might be having some kind of problem. Or that whatever they might have been using, that there's a car stopped, I believe, in front. Yep. There's a stopped car. That is Sanremo.
It is indeed. It's what looks like engine failure as Todoroki and Unterberger continue to battle on. We'll go through the grid and see.
Let's take a look at the... so can we take a look at the replay for what it's in here in summary? There we go, you went too far, there we go.
Let's have a look. It seems like standard engine failure. Nothing of...
Yep. Just the engine lights failed, nothing really to see here. Stopped on the apex of the corner, which is really great, but you know, it happens. And now, Todoroki and Unterberger fighting for position, fighting for P14. You could call it P nothing as you have done earlier on, but this is P everything for Redmayne, because if Redmayne, if Unterberger now continues holding himself up by fighting Todoroki, then he's going to be blocking Redmayne.
And this would be the battle of the inferior teammates of the top two teams.
Yep, and Unterberger goes past, seemingly realizing what I've just said, and he goes past back up into P14 as Todoroki now.
And Kristupas got past.
Kristupas right behind him, and Kristupas has gone past Redmayne. I bet it's better than Army, also right behind Redmayne. Might we be seeing a race with no lapped cars here? Because if how it's looking right now, Magma is still losing time.
Oh, what a save!
Whoa. And the Shield Army seems to be giving it all just to stay unlapped. I think it might be thinking like...
And that's Redmayne
That is Redmayne getting quite aggressive. They're hitting Kristupas on the rear quarter.
I think he's angry. He must be angry. He is angry! He's had enough.
That was absolutely shameful there from Redmayne.
He's had enough. He says, I'm not going to be shown up by these lapped cars. So, first off, I don't think he did not brake check or anything with Lamy, but Kristupas got past Redmayne fair and square. What does he do? Hits him in his right rear quarter. Bang.
I think there might have been an attempt at taking him out, since hitting him in that location in such a fast corner is certainly a move that would only be worthy of murders, for attempted murders, and that, my friends, is murder. That is Redmayne taking out a driver that is going to be left by him.
Seeing completely red.
Well, his name is Redmayne, so it would only make sense that he sees red. It's in his name. But I don't think that the stewards are going to be amused at his little red antics.
I would agree, because he's just had enough. Would he do? I don't think. I think the only reason he even did that is because Unterberger wasn't there. Unterberger pulled away, so
That is now meant that Christopher is back behind Redmayne, but he's probably not very happy about this as well. Staying right behind Redmayne, not going to try and catch up to him again and try and get past him. Of course, Delalami also right behind these two. That's Christopher's going in a minute to tap up the back.
maybe Kristupas is thinking now he knows what he tried to do and he isn't having any of it. Todoroki seems like he's going to take the battle lying down, but Kristupas isn't, and Kristupas is sure as hell going to send a message to Schnitzer that the customers are not to be stepped on.
Yeah, and of course Kristupas is battered and beaten from all the banging he's done in this race, and he seems to be wanting to add some more cars, he said, to that list. Looks like he has some kind of power cut there because
He dropped back a lot. I think we're on the second. No, we're not on the penultimate lap yet.
It's 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go, and it looks like any chance of Redmayne losing a position out to these two cars has died, and these two cars seem to be given the orders just to nurse the cars home because they are not battling for position, despite how close they are. This gap is nothing in terms of raw pace they have that they're able to dish out on track. So obviously they are holding back to take home second and third respectively, and that is Redmayne coming up to more lapped cars.
Alberti and Petrauskas now fighting for position. Of course, Alberti and Petrauskas have some history with each other, but also with Redmayne in the case of Petrauskas having fought against him in. Oh, that is Redmayne now hitting the back of Alberti. Alberti, of course, doesn't seem to be very fond of trying to keep it down the inside, but Redmayne goes past. Now behind Petrauskas.
And now Petrauskas will probably share the same sentiment as his other teammates, that the customers are not to be bullied. But look at this, like Redmayne is just pushing and shoving every single lapped car he can find out of the way. So there's definitely going to be something said after the race, because this won't... I'm sure the administration won't be too happy about this type of driving.
Yeah, this type of driving, I really don't have any other word for this. It's just plain dangerous. You're endangering yourself by just hitting everyone you see. And I don't think that the administration is going to be, well, that the stewards as well are going to be very...
He's lucky none of those cars he's been pushing around are fighting for position. If he does that same kind of thing when he gets to Henry J. Brown and Steiner Metzkel, then, well, I'll have no words. Degrassi now, next in line, but Degrassi seems to be just going slow in general, so there might be nothing. Yeah.
I believe that Degrassi might have had some kind of flaw because he dropped 2 positions in one corner. Might have spun out. Maybe we could take a look at the replay for that. Degrassi being in...
Gotta go through all the unlucky ones.
You already went past him.
Oh, I went. Oh, yeah, he dropped position. That's true. He is. Who are we talking about? Steiner Metzger? Degrassi. Okay, so Shuzhnikai, Michael Macker, Sal Saller, Nisbet, Friedman, Owen Potter, Degrassi.
Yeah, very good. Degrassi. Let's see what happened to him into turn 1.
Into turn 1.
Looks like he. What in the.
Stuck in third gear.
No, he wasn't stuck in third gear, but it seems like he just ended the stop having delivering power.
Yeah, that is not good news. Unterberger even looked like he had to get out of the way to avoid colliding with him.
Yeah, Redmayne did go and brake.
And now Degrassi is holding up Alberti and Delalami. Alberti even almost crashed because of that.
And Alberti, of course, having lost position to Delalami and Degrassi from these incidents. But Delalami are going down inside, and Alberti hitting the back of Degrassi. That car is not in a good shape.
And Alberti is now well out of the points, so very unfortunate. And that's Todoroki now. Here comes Todoroki. He's saying free positions, but Alberti makes sure not to lose anything due to Degrassi's antics. But look at that! I don't know what's going on there.
Well, one thing you could say about all of the Team Dynamics cars are that they're all backed out. They look like they've been through a demolition derby, all of them, and it makes sense when you consider that they've all been massive. We're going up and down the field for the entire race now. But these cars are so battered that I think that it's just sucked the life out of them.
Yeah, I mean the two of them are at the back. There's only one that's still in some contention for position, and that's the one that has the least amount of damage. So.
And that's one that was hit by Redmayne. But actually, on the topic of Redmayne is losing massive amounts of time to Michael Mahan and Shashtikai.
Well, not anymore.
No, it's 23 seconds now, and Shashtikai is also caught up a little bit to Michael Mahan.
I say not anymore because he's in clean. He's only got Henry J. Brown and Owen Potter, which is very far away, but his car is absolutely... Oh, I've missed it. I've missed the camera cue. But his car is absolutely messed up.
Owen Potter's car looks like it's also been through a demolition derby, and because of the reasons for this, he's been involved in quite a few collisions. But now it's the final race, it's the final lap of the race, and it seems that that's Henry J. Brown. Henry Brown might want to let Eddie Redmayne through, because he's in a points-paying position right now, and I don't think that engine or that car is going to last another lap.
Well, if Henry J. Brown engine goes, and he crashes in the middle of the track, I don't want to say anything, but...
Actually, if he finishes this lap now, and Redmayne is still behind him, that means that he will be able to keep his position. As Petauskas is a lapped car now, even though he's very close to Redmayne, Petauskas is a lapped car, which means that AJ Brown would still have P9 despite retiring from the race.
That engine is just barely hanging on.
Yeah, that engine is absolutely not healthy, and you can see how much Redmayne is gaining on this car. He's probably going to go for the inside here. No, he doesn't. But Petauskas was just now thinking about going to the inside of that.
22 seconds. Oh no. Redmayne is through. Or is he?
Yeah, Redmayne is through, and that's also Petauskas now going through. Petauskas up into P9, which means that AJ Brown is going to finish P10 with a dying engine. If he manages to make it to the end of the lap, he might still be retiring in the last corner. But that is Eddie Redmayne now finishing the race in P1, winning the race for the BMW Team Schlitzer. And that is the result of AJ Brown's car slowly dying a painful death in the background. Now, to P2.
Oh, that's Todoroki.
Even is the alarmy of him finishing this race now. But right now, Michael Mahan, P2 finish for him. Very good result after his not quite as good qualifying, and there we go, Shashtikai now in P3. Shashtikai finishes P3, a great result for him as well, but he might be hitting himself a little bit for not having finished ahead of Michael Mahan, which puts him into a bad position in the championship.
Indeed.
Stella now, Hendrik Stella, finishing P4 if he manages to push his car back into the finish.
And that's a monster finish for Sal Saller and the Mondeo team.
Absolutely, Mondeo has been showing some promise in the last few races, but not quite as much as this, as Salsa now goes and takes his first, takes P2.
P2, P4. P4! It's right there!
What do I say?
It's right there. There's a leaderboard.
I was meaning to say he takes 6 points,
Yeah.
which Thomas has finished. This is finished from Wembley. And here we've got Thomas Lisbeth finishing in P5, great result for him, which, considering that he has only scored.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, that is Marcus Kyle P7. We were talking from race just now. That is second feedback happened to P6.
Oh my goodness. You know, this happened to Kajo before. You know that?
Yep, this has happened to Kyle before.
In this exact same spot. The
Same corner. Oh, no, not in the same corner, sorry. This has happened to Kyle before in Snatterton. No, wait. No, wait, it happened at Silverstone, didn't it?
yeah, the national layout.
It happened in the first round, now it's happening in the 7th round. Might this be a bit of a foreboding sign for the 10th round, for the season finale, which will also be at Silverstone?
And now 3 points for Potter.
Yep.
There's Kajo. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, this guy having retired from P7, which means that Potter is going to finish P7, and Kyle, despite not anything on the finish race, is still going to be classified in P8. But
And-
he's a great points for own Potter, because own Potter now, having finished P7, oh wait, Potter's going into the pits for some reason.
Seems like his end. What's happened?
Yeah, own Potter's finished the race, okay, that's not a problem. But own Potter now, having finished in 7th place, will be getting, what was it again, 4 points, I believe? No, 3 points. Yeah, 3 points to his name for finishing P7, which will, considering that he has actually failed to finish any points since the first round of the championship, he will now be able to propel himself a bit up the standings, maybe even to P11 or so in the championship points. Anyway, yeah, the race results, going down the grid. First place, we have Eddie Redmayne for the Wieler Motorsport team, also known as Wieler Team Schnitzer. In second place, Jean-Michael Macher. Third place, Laban Sheshtikai. On the rest of the grid, we've got on the rest of the results, we've got Sassana, Lisbeth, Friedman, Potter, Kayo, Babauskas, Brown, Todoroki, Lamy, Alberti. You need to slow down.
Oh yes, yeah. The
We've got Luxemburger, Beskal, Christophers and Di Grassi finishing race in last place. Remaining drivers have all retired for several different reasons, like an engine failure, gearbox failure, and brake failures, with 2 suspension failures also being involved, and of course, our nice little AI driver David Pinkney having crashed himself into the wall in turn 1.
the David Pinkney, who is a real life driver that doesn't exist in MMS.
Thank you, David.
So Kajo's brakes went on the last corner of the last lap. So the first time I think it was fuel, and that was that an exhibition race?
No, that was the first one of the championship, that was at Silverstone, where he actually did score. Was Marcus Kaya. Marcus Kaya scored 2 points for his doubles, mostly because everyone else behind him had also retired.
So that was Silverstone, and I hope you enjoyed that. I relatively did, given you know, Redmayne just dominated with a 24-second gap.
But we'll have to see if that gap gets upheld, because of course Nissan are going to protest the legality of this car, and I think some of the drivers are going to be protesting the legality of this lapping rules.
Yes.
It remains to be seen whether or not Eddie Redmayne is going to keep that P1. But as always, it's been a great time for me, and see you guys at the next race.
Yes. So goodbye from me, and goodbye.